Hello, Jackie. How are you? Are we live? Are we there? Hello, LinkedIn. If you're hearing us, say hello. Jackie, listen, I'm excited to be here today. Guys, welcome. We're the Emotional Women. It is, what is this? Our second, third episode? I don't even know. It's been a week. I don't know about you guys, but my brain's a blur. And I just thought, man, I'm feeling a little like I need to talk about it with our friends, right? And so we're going to be diving in as we are supposed to as the emotional women into some of the harder topics today. I am Melissa Houston, cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And what that means is I help people like you figure out what they want to be when they grow up and get a plan together to help that happen. That's kind of how I got here. If you're watching us, you're live on LinkedIn. That means that we have been friends. But um, Jackie, I want to bring you up pretty quick here because I'm Melissa Houston. I'm a coach, but that's kind of how I met Jackie. I was doing a show here on LinkedIn. A friend of a friend did a thing. We became friends. She became a client. We became partners. And here we are. So, Jackie, why don't you tell them who you are and what got you to the stage with me today? I can hear you, ma'am. Are you there? Jackie, can you hear
Can
me?
you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because not being on stage, I'm like, I don't think I'm up here. Hi, guys. So we are the
We can
emotional
hear
women. We are the emotional women. And my goodness, has it been a day? It has been a week, actually. Melissa, how about for you?
It has. It's just been nonstop, kind of with the dad stuff and then the other stuff and just life, right? I feel like it's been a big week for many. And so I'm glad you survived. We're here, right? We got air. We're ready to go.
We're always ready to go, no matter how crazy things are.
So I don't know if you heard me or not, but I did my intro. And I don't know if they heard me, but I did my intro. So I want to let you go ahead.
I heard only part of it, so I don't know if I'm having wonky signal tonight or what's going on, Miss Melissa. So I appreciate that. I'm used to seeing both of our little faces up on the screen talking, so it's kind of
Here we
weird
come.
right
Here we come. I'm working
there
on it.
we
See, look,
go.
I can
Yeah,
multitask. I'm just trying to make sure we're live everywhere. We're okay.
I'm like,
We're okay.
I don't even know if my speaker's working right now or what's going on. So thank you, my friend. So, oh gosh, there's so much to say. How can I introduce myself? So if you see under my name, it says Trippin' with Jax, home reentry. I do a lot of things on the side in terms of travel and reentry, but by day, I'm also in the space of nonprofit world. I am working with really tough situations in the criminal or the conflict arena and with victimization. So it's a lot of stuff to have on your shoulders all day. And then what we also do is, we do this thing called helping people communicate and we try to resolve conflict. And when you're talking with people that are not always happy with other people all day long, it can add up throughout the day. And then when you go home, and then there might be conflict in your home, or there may be miscommunication going on, or maybe it's more like, your friends or your neighbors having conflict. And then you think about the bigger picture in your bigger community, your world, it gets big. So the stuff I do is changing all the time because sometimes people bring family stuff to us, sometimes they bring community stuff to us. So when Melissa and I started talking about doing something together and we came up with the emotional women, it wasn't because we only wanted to work with women or we only felt like women had emotions, but because the kind of work we've both done really intense stuff, and we sometimes still get not treated the same because of our gender or because of the excitement that's in our voice or sometimes the words we use. And we thought it was really important that we come together to talk about a lot of this stuff. So I could go on and on about the stuff I do. Melissa could go on and on about the stuff she does, but we really wanted to be here so you guys know who we are. And I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa.
Well, listen, our friends are showing up, and guys, we appreciate you being here. We decided to do this kind of last minute, and I got to own it. For those of you who are looking forward to a Sunday show, it was my fault, and I claim that. Those of you who don't know, my dad had a couple of heart attacks within a few days of each other. A nose surgery after taking a saw to the face from a flat side, which is a miracle in and of itself. He's still okay. And actually, quick update, Jackie, he's doing good. He's moving to the cardio ward
Yeah.
out of ICU. So, I mean, good stuff. But guys,
Good. Good stuff.
emotional. And anybody who knows Melissa knows that she wasn't raised around this guy. We've had a very short lived life together because we met late in life. And there's a long story there, but it was heavy. Emotionally, it's just been a heavy week. On top of it, I watched the news. I don't know if you guys happen to see these feeds that are on your cell phones, but they fill us with a lot of data. Sometimes it's really cool tips on how to use AI, like I did for ChatGPT, to write the promo, or it's more, right? And I'll be honest, with that mention of ChatGPT, I do have something I want to just open the show with if I can. We're going to take a quick pause for liability's sake. As a compliance person, it's important, right? But ChatGPT helped us write this, and I am going to read it, and then Jackie, you're welcome to follow up. But in this episode of The Emotional Women, I will be sharing perspectives that are deeply personal and informed by my own journey, overcoming abuse, homelessness, and significant adversity, as well as nearly a decade of professional experience in the background screening industry. The views expressed here are my own and do not necessarily represent those of any current or past employers, organizations, or affiliations. Through both personal struggle and professional work, I have learned that emotions are not a weakness. They are a bridge to understanding, healing, and connection. This space is intended to be inclusive and welcoming to all, regardless of background, identity, or belief system. I honor the unique emotional journeys that each listener carries, and I invite everyone to engage with openness, compassion, and respect. If you have any questions or thoughts you'd like to share confidentially during the show, you're welcome to message us directly or me directly. Your privacy will be respected and your voice matters. Whether spoken aloud or held in confidence, we will make sure it's heard. In a world that can often feel divided, the Emotional Women strives to remind us that feeling deeply and honoring that in ourselves and others is a strength we can all share. Jackie?
Love that. So it's a little formal for me because y'all know I'm not quite the AI person like our dear Melissa is, and she's so good with that. But what her words say are important because we don't want to come off and say, hey, everything we say and feel is exactly the right. So my disclaimer is please be true to yourself. Please understand that my views do not necessarily reflect Melissa. They do not necessarily reflect the business we have together. My private businesses, of course, will reflect myself, but my day job also does not reflect that. Please also keep in mind that those of us that have different experiences based on our past, based on our current, and possibly where we're looking to go towards might impact things just a little bit differently. So, just for me, I want you to know that judgment is only for me. To a point where people do not want to be nice to other humans. So that is where I'm going to go with everything. And we want to hear from you. We want to make this a safe space because Melissa and I have each other throughout the day, sometimes at night, but our 3 hour difference can be kind of tricky. And we tend to feel things about the same when we see certain things that happen and when we hear other things. And we're able to bounce ideas off of each other. And we also have our own family and friend network in our own personal space. Not every human has that kind of privilege. Not every human has the privilege to go on stage like we're doing right now for fear of so many different things. So we wanted to come together to make sure people know that we are here and we want to listen, we want to support, and we want to normalize some of the emotions that are going on. But with that being said, this is not what we plan on doing with the Emotional Women every time with our own responses. It's really about elevating your responses, like Melissa said. So we're excited you're here. We're excited to hear some different voices and different thoughts. And we are here to grow together, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, Jackie, I'm excited that we're doing this, right? Number one, it's hard work to be so transparent in a world with so much accountability everywhere. And I mean that figure quotes in the air, a little bit of accountability, because it really, for me, in my experience in background screening, depends on your pay grade, right? And so I got to be honest, I've been really frustrated for a very long time about disparities in income and how it can affect the criminal justice system, your ability to navigate through charges or convictions or lack thereof. But I'm also seeing things that bother me, like bridges that I personally crossed to get to where I am today. I, 2008 in Arizona, I had been unemployed after a car accident. I had PTSD. I was a solopreneur back then, driving a cab. It was my first job. Lots of people do that kind of thing now, but back then it was still kind of early for people like myself um, to break in. And the economy collapsed, Jackie. 2008, it was gone, right? Lots saw it. We hear about it sometimes referenced, even now. And so I went to Nebraska and I used programs that were in that state to help me get back to work, welfare to work programs, things that helped me learn how to build a resume because I had never done so before, programs that let me sit on a computer and type and get a words per minute score to add to a resume. Never had access before. Um, it was those little things that so many of us look around today and take for granted, right? ChatGPT can write me a resume in no time. I don't even have to worry about it. But who had a computer at home in 2008? I didn't. And if I did, it certainly wasn't connected to AI. And so when I think about the evolution of how far we've come, yet how many bridges still are required to get people where I was once to where I am now in a stable income earning environment, being able to provide substantially for my children to the point of meals and clothing. And hey, you want to go out and have fun with your friends? We can make that happen. And so that's emotionally, all of these things have been bubbling under the surface this week. That's kind of where my brain went. But then on a professional level, a business consultant, somebody who assesses change for a living, looks to improve processes and do so with the whole in mind, right? That Venn diagram approach of here's the goal, here's the whole, here's the human. How do we get it all to work in the center and everybody kind of take care of the ripple on the outsides of that? And so I'm struggling with my circles this week. That's the best way I can state it. Jackie, I want to hand the mic to you because I've been going, but that's where I am today. Guys, where are you in the comments? Feel free to jump in on this conversation. How are you feeling? Why are you feeling that way? You don't even have to talk about who made you feel that way, but what's coming up?
Yeah, please let us know, guys, because when Melissa and I talk about, this has been incredibly emotional. It's coming from so many directions. It's coming from just us being humans and some of the life stuff that happens during humans' life, but really, it's happening so much with the scary stuff, the evil, the hate, the change that some of us are experiencing through change of administration in different governments and seeing war and seeing people that are disappearing and just seeing so many things. It's tough. It's tough every day. I'm so thankful for the privilege that I have to be able to use my voice and to be able to use my passport when I want. And I think of all the people that don't have that opportunity and I can't just leave. Guys, I want to jump on a plane so bad, but it's like why would I do that when there's other people hurting? So my soul is really conflicted right now. I have a lot of different emotions that go on. I want to elevate people and give people so much hope and excitement, yet I'm terrified and petrified at the same time. I keep joy in my soul. I keep hope for everybody, and yet I feel whew, what is our reality and how do we do that? Some of you guys know travel is my thing. When I say I want to jump on a plane, it's not like just because it's what I do. I travel and I don't feel okay traveling right now. I don't feel okay encouraging other people to travel right now, at least to certain countries or out of certain countries. And I never in my life expected to feel that way. And especially, at this point in my life when I have overcame so many of the nervousness about traveling solo or being a woman that's in different countries, and to have that right now, I would just be an absolute fraud to encourage people to do certain things when we don't know what's going to happen from hour to hour on some of the changes that are going on in this country. And it it's hard to put that emotion into words, and that's why we wanted to come together tonight to see what are the other emotions going on. We've already got some amazing people from other countries in the comments, and we have people from America here, and we want to support you. We want to be able to know what's going on in terms of where you're at? Are we going to have people that even want to keep coming to our shows or doing different businesses with us? So please remember, you do not need to out yourself. You do not need to come on stage. You do not need to write a comment. But if you do anything privately to Melissa or I, we will not share your name. We are not going to go in and screenshot anything that you've said or try to turn you in on anything. Please know that that is not only our words that we're saying, it is our commitment and it is our integrity. We are not going to be building businesses with putting people out there on blast or putting people that have asked for something to be confidential or quiet to be shared out there. So please feel safe here. Melissa?
Oh man, Jackie, I think it's important to have these conversations. And guys, we know we're walking on ice, right? This is what emotional conversation brings. And depending on how you're feeling emotionally, it can bring different reactions. And that's kind of why we chose to walk such a thin line on a professional platform about topics nobody is supposed to discuss, right? Ladies get told early in life we're not supposed to talk about politics or religion in public. And that's not really true anymore when these things are being highlighted on my newsfeed without my permission, right? It's not up to me to decide who's going to talk about my faith or how it's used or somebody else's. Um, the laws that have governed the land. I'm a big fan of the Constitution as an American. I wanted to serve my country. Like I'm not an anti-American person. I just really believe in equality. I believe humans all over the globe have wowed me with their potential and their skills and their passion and their fun and their energy. Um, I think I've learned more from people outside of my neighborhood than I ever could have at home, right? Because the truth be told, I think breaking curses, breaking cycles, breaking those kind of things is to vary it, change it up. And so the more we engage with people who aren't like us, the better we become, in my opinion, right? But I'm not seeing that celebrated. I'm not seeing that kind of diversity mindset appreciated as somebody who struggles with physical limitations and somebody who gets paid less in the workplace by default on paper statistically, as somebody who has watched disparate impact in criminal background screens and watched businesses get sued because they were applying bad info, keeping out a minority that was charged but never convicted. That was Pepsi, guys. That's where I started my career, was learning about them, and they're one of my favorite kind of brands, right? Or and it wasn't even intentional. It's just the way the practice was created, and I had to teach people about this because it affected people who were charged but not convicted. And so when we talk about things in the news and criminals and who's a criminal and who's not, I'm like, hey, that piece of paper that says we get to go tell the judge why we are or not, that matters. If we have equal treatment to be able to stand in front of people, it matters, right? Um, and when it fails, it's a domino effect. There is no one human that is excluded when that piece of paper fails. And that is something I've learned in my career. It's where we keep pointing. There's different layers of government that I've had to research, and they were separate for a reason. And that's why I had to bundle packages to get it. And I'm watching this deteriorate, and that freaks me out just a little bit. Right. And this is my reality based on my profession, based on my career. I'm watching tariffs. People sell products all over the globe. I consult businesses all over LinkedIn. Do you know how many professionals like Jackie who travel as part of her job, her side hustle or whatever you guys want to call it, right? Um, are scared to coach people into other countries right now. What if, right? We don't know what the what ifs, and nobody does currently. That's scary. It's unsettling. Even if you're positive about what's happening, you still can't make a bet you can bank on. That's uncertainty for everybody. And that is not always fun for anybody, right, Jackie? Like, as somebody who works with or has worked in the past with mental health and different things, being in a room where uncertainty exists, does the energy not elevate immediately? And I don't know if you're muted or not.
I I was just thinking about that energy, Melissa. I think you and I both get that compliment often, or that awareness often, that, oh my gosh, you guys just have so much energy. You can keep talking, you talk fast, you have so much to say. Energy, oh gosh, it connects with where you're going and what you're doing. And when I'm around people with that negative, evil, hate filled attitude, or back to Melissa talking about those that don't value diversity, it kind of just feels like the room gets smaller. It feels like you're not safe. You're not sure what to do. And it's not okay. Most of you know that are in the comments right now, my day job is all about working with people that have a criminal past. Well, that's part of what I do, but it's a big part of what I do. And in terms of the person that's currently in the administration position in the United States being a multi person that has a felony charge, I have not shared anything about him having a felony status because there are so many humans in America that have a felony connected to their name from sometimes 4 years ago, 14 years ago, 34 years ago, and that still follows them and prevents them from getting certain housing and certain loans and getting even going to college in certain capacities. So I never wanted to connect that that was the reason that there could be some concerns with him leading this country. However, the fact that he's able to do what he can and people are being shamed and arrested and disappeared and tortured without even having any kind of criminal background, it's really hard to think about. It's only been 100 days. What is going to happen in the next 4 days, the next 30 days, the next 100 days? It is absolutely terrifying to think of what are going to happen to our current prisons. I'm in the state of Michigan, and he's actually celebrating his 100th day in office today in my state. And it's not a celebration when there are people that are being stripped from their babies, nursing mothers, mothers that have infants. It's absolutely astonishing that we think this is moving the world forward, and trying to keep that happy face on and trying to do a lot of positivity and keeping your energy high when this is going on. It's tough, but then I also have to think about, and Melissa, I'll turn it back to you in a second, but it's like the people that are enforcing this torture and putting people into places that they know they will literally die in and stripping them from their babies, those people are humans too that are doing this. And even if their thought process is different than mine, this is going to come back and this is going to hurt them emotionally for decades and decades to come. Now, there's a lot of research on there about, okay, do people go into positions of law enforcement and corrections because they want to be power and control over people, or is it because they really believe in trying to keep things safe and then the environment of the job sometimes corrupts them? Regardless of what that is, people that are in the positions right now, whether they are considered government employees, whether considered law enforcement, whether considered ICE, whether they're considered border agents, whatever the term, whatever they are, some of them are considered just citizens and they are trying to invoke their own laws. This is going to come back and it's going to hurt their souls in some capacity. And this has happened multiple times in history. And these people have babies out there themselves. They may have grandbabies. They may have nieces and nephews. They are in contact with other humans, and not just what they're doing on their day job, but just that persona, that environment that's going on. I also hurt for them, Melissa, because they're going to have that ripple effect on so many of us. And those are going to be the people that end up doing things that hurt themselves or hurt other humans, even outside of the day job.
You know, it's such a delicate moment in history for all people. Even, and it's every time it changes hands. I would say this before. I'm going to say this disclaimer right out loud. Every time there's a leadership change, there is the ripple. I don't care if it's the CEO switching hands or whatever, but this time it's different. The things that I have always looked to, like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who would take a Jane Doe or a John Smith or a Maria Garcia and protect them if their information was misrepresented. A bad credit report, a bad background check that said they were somebody they weren't, a criminal record that looked like it was them based on name and date of birth, but they had never lived in another state. And it was just a happenstance that there was another person with a common name, like a Melissa Houston, who might have been born the same day and year as me. Whoa, what are the odds, right? I didn't think it was very high until I did background checks. But if you really get into it and then you look at the variables and Hispanic last names having two different last names, both the mother and the father, you start looking at intricacies you've never considered. And when you start thinking about that, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau being one of the first organizations that made me pause and say, why did that just happen? They are self funded, self sustaining. They fight for the little guy. They are the ones who fight the big guys when they do the bad stuff. Why? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would we take the anti bully off the playground? Right. And so there is a ripple there. Then you look into this mass exodus of finger quotes criminals. Guys, in my expertise, my experience of almost a decade in an industry, a conviction is what makes you a criminal. A charge means you have to go talk to a judge to figure out if you're a criminal. That's the most simple way of putting it. And so if you're not convicted in a court of law, you're not a criminal until proven as such. It says so on this piece of paper we founded the country on. It's important to me that that does not change because I've seen what happens even with that blanket. There's still problems with our system and we still get false positives on things that we shouldn't. And there's still like DNA kits out there that are not being processed. And so if we're really going to work on anything in mass, we should work on fixing what we started, which is right here, right in America. I am a little nervous about everybody else from a business standpoint, guys. I saw a friend share a live video and it was set to friends, so I'm going to keep it very clean and protected, but the messaging was clear. This person works as a social worker and the funding for this program is state and federally funded. I posted this last week about AmeriCorps losing their funding. This is a ripple of that. This program helps seniors. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty because I don't want to dive in too deeply. But reality is, it's a vital program for people who have no people. And it's not funded now. That is one of the many things that AmeriCorps does. And I actually pulled it up and I'm going to just cover it real quick. They support 10,000 schools for enhancing attendance, engagement, and graduation rates. They help disaster services, response and recovery, including rebuilding homes and aiding survivors. They help with financial literacy programs and affordable housing. They help with protecting natural habitats and improving energy efficiency. They also help with delivering services to seniors, combats foods insecurity, addresses public health challenges. And lastly, veterans and military families get education, employment, and benefits while they serve through AmeriCorps. So this is not just one thing. This is us, everybody, from military, from the kids, the 5-year-old in the room to the 75-year-old in the room. And I know a lot of nonprofit leaders out here who are looking at each other going, now what? I know retailers are going, oh, wait, we're not able to get product. Now what? Guys, this is the beginning of a very big wave, and we're just seeing warning signs of it coming. And so we're here. That's really, if we're not here to go, hey, it's all doom and gloom. But these are real stories coming to us from real people, real life experiences, real things happening in front of us, and you can fact check at any time. It's there. They're confirming it on all sides, right? This is not a one person problem. This is a global problem right now because there is a ripple and it's vast. And so be kind, right? Talk to each other. Jackie, being available to help these guys process.
And I kind of shared a little bit earlier that, it's hard even for me, and I'm the person people come to, but I would much rather people come to me with their concerns, their sadness, their scaredness, because then it becomes more, not just support, but it becomes more real, like we're in this together. And I think one of the things that I keep kind of confusing myself a little bit with this on how I want to actually word it, but those of us that have lived in America our whole life, especially those of us with white skin, especially those of us that have not lived in extreme poverty or had some of the intense abuse some other people have experienced, we have lived a life knowing creature comforts and not what so many people around the globe have to experience. We have become very selfish in terms of, it's not happening to me, so what's over there? And that's the thing that blows my mind, is the amount of people that are not understanding that this is really happening on American soil. These are beautiful humans that are somebody that could be our own cousin, our neighbor, our dentist person, anybody that we're connected with. And when Melissa was talking about it so close to home, it is so close to home. Just because ICE hasn't came into your specific neighborhood or into your school yet, just because you haven't completely known a person that was getting arrested or disappeared. I'm not going to use the word deported unless they went to court, and it's like, if they haven't experienced that and they're just thinking it's not going to happen because it hasn't happened yet, guys, where is the history? I mean, unfortunately, so many of us, especially that came from like rural communities like I did, we had no real history class because the history teacher was busy talking about sports with all the athletes in the classroom. You know, ah, it's mind blowing. You have to do your own research. You have to do your own talking. You have to do your own kind of like your own deep dive into your soul to figure out how can you have compassion and understanding for other humans that are experiencing things in different ways that you may never experience, but how can you also take care of yourself in the process? And that's one of the things Melissa and I want to stress, is this show is not meant to be doom and gloom. Anytime we talk about your emotions, it's not meant to be like, oh, just keep crying, everything's fine. It's meant to honor your experience. And that's why when people come to me or they reach out, they send a message. I've got one person that I used to work with, and we connect on a different social media platform. And every few days, she will just send me another message. And she's like, I am so scared I'm going to get separated from my daughter. I'm so worried that this is going to happen. I'm scared to leave my house. And she is legal as can be, and to hear that, it just breaks my soul. But yet the fact that she's willing to reach out to me, oh, guys, I mean, it's not like we're best friends. It's not like we're family. We were former colleagues quite some time ago, and yet she feels comfortable and safe talking to me. That is something that I just do not take for granted. And it's something that kind of helps me want to keep fighting for people that don't have quite the opportunity to use their voice like I have. So Melissa and I want to make sure that we are giving some hope. We are giving some opportunity for you to use those emotions in whatever way works for you to get through some of the most difficult time of life without feeling like you have to stuff them down, without feeling like your emotions aren't valid because you're not experiencing what I am. You're not experiencing it the way Melissa is. You're not experiencing the way somebody much younger or much older than you are. And that's the thing, is how do we find hope when there's chaos and we feel like we just can't get as much control of our emotional reaction or our emotional detachment? Because sometimes when things are very emotional to us, or we just feel like we're overwhelmed, or it's bringing up all this anxiety or sadness, sometimes our body's response, our brain's response, is to detach and to act like it's not happening. So there's one part of me is like, some of these people that aren't talking about it or willing to go there, is it because they just can't mentally go there, or is it because they really just don't think it's going to happen to them? So Melissa, that's where I'm kind of going back and forth, and it's a really hard time for me, because I want to give hope and I want to believe that we're all seeing the same things, but yeah, I also can't surround myself with people that just don't want to think about the reality of changes.
I have to say, I think it's important from a legal, like, let's just do compliance, right? Because I know we're in our fields, but let's get, and that's emotional, but let's get to the business of it all. Number one, if you're an American right now and you're feeling like you're not getting your circle protected, right? We talk about personal space. I'm a big proponent, not just for elbow space, but I like to put my hands out flat, kind of like I'm stopping traffic in New York City. And I'm like, if I can't spin in a circle with my hands out flat, then you're in my space. And when I think about personal choice, what I'm having for dinner, who I'm having it with, how I'm having it, I want to continue that with myself. When you were talking about having ICE come in, I have always lived in a border, like I was raised in a border state. So ICE was something I'm actually familiar with. It was not until I went to Sierra Vista, which is the bottom right hand corner of the state almost, and I was 100 miles close to the border, that I got stopped randomly in the middle of a desert street. And I'm like, what are you guys doing out here? And I panicked. I'll be honest, Jackie, I was having anxiety just thinking about it. I've never done anything. I did background checks, right? Like I I I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was picking up artwork with an adopted mom of mine. We were just driving from northern Arizona to southern Arizona to get some art her friend did. And it was really cool art. But the panic that set in just being stopped for no reason. I live here now in Bellingham. We just had a raid. ICE is here. They're in town. They just raided a roofing company. And while I am not going to argue whether the roofing company had illegal workers present or if they were here or had convictions, because some did, I mean, there's a variation there. I will say, number one, I've seen companies have this kind of raid happen in Nebraska and they were open for business the next day. And that's a problem for me from accountability, right? From a standpoint of that. Number two, I think about the kids. If I panicked as an adult who knows I did background checks and could pass the background check and can do all the things, then what about the kids who have to sit in that same seat? What about, I mean, when I was a child, the police came in and when they asked if I had been sexually assaulted by my mom's boyfriend, I said no because I was watching my mom's face. And I was trying to protect her because of what I was watching. I can't imagine how these kids must feel if their mom or dad are leaving and there's nothing they can do. And then when I'm hearing stories of, hey, the kid chose to go, of course they did. I chose to lie to the police officers to say I wasn't sexually abused because my mom was depressed and I didn't want to make it worse. We can't just make that okay, right? There's got to be a balance of everybody gets a say, everybody gets their time in court. And then we do it appropriately when it's time, not this Band-Aid rip of, 72 hours and you never see your parent. I just saw somebody was lied to at immigration. This is not the way. If we have to lie to get it done, we're doing it wrong. Right?
Oh,
I mean,
you just
so
Oh, you got me going because I'm thinking of so many different things, and I know we're not having a ton of feedback in comments and such like that, and that's okay, guys, because this is intense. It's not what everybody wants to talk about, but I'm so thankful that those of you that are in our space tonight are here. Those that are willing to listen to the replay, message us. Let us know your thoughts about this because what Melissa just mentioned about the kid response, we are not just talking about the kids that have been stripped of their parents, where their parents have literally already been arrested. They have been, whether they've been shipped to a different country or whether they're still being detained locally. But let's talk about, I am a grown ass woman, guys. I am around the block. I am talking about criminalization and victimization literally every day. I am feeling emotional reactions and I feel like I'm getting my information from credible sources. I'm not feeling like I'm just so caught up in what I think I believe that that's the only thing I'm doing. So I'm this woman that has a lot of years of experience of coping and figuring out how to go through tough times and navigate difficult conversations where there are so many young kids that are seeing the same news clips we're seeing. They're hearing the same words: mother stripped from baby as she's breastfeeding, mother lied to, husband deported, hearing all of this and kids not fully understanding it, but yet kids' minds, if they don't have an answer that makes sense to them, they will always think a much worse case scenario. That's especially true in like divorce or like what Melissa shared with her situation. They either feel like they are the object that caused the issue, or they feel like they are somehow to blame in other capacities, or that they should take the blame for the adult because they don't want their adults hurting as much. Guys, we saw so much change with COVID responses to schools being shut down and kids being alienated from some of their friends and their teachers that really cared about them or their coaches. And that ripple is still happening. Those little minds, they lost a lot of connection because people were living in fear. They were actually watching some of their family members die and go to the hospital and not being able to touch them or talk to them because they could get them sick. And some of our young people are just starting to understand those responses and to understand that that was a trauma that somebody as old as me did not experience, because even though I lost people and I heard all the sad stories during the pandemic across the globe, I didn't have that being withdrawn from my fellow people that I see all the time, because I worked in an environment that was actually a police station where we had to still show up every day. We were wearing masks. We were somewhat social distancing, but we still had to show up because the community doesn't shut down a police station when there's any kind of a pandemic or issue. So I didn't have that kind of response, but we're seeing the kids, the decline in their grades, so many different social skills that have just went downhill, an increase in some of the criminal activity with youth. And so when Melissa was talking about that, what about our youth? Guys, we need to let them honor their feelings, let them talk about it, not just be like, this is for adults to talk about, or, oh, don't watch that, because they're going to watch it even if they're not watching it in front of you. So thinking about how this is literally going to impact generations, not just in America, not just in Canada, where there's the whole border thing, not just in Mexico or El Salvador or Venezuela, but across the entire globe. People are watching and listening and wondering. And this is something that we as adults have to be mindful of. And kids are going to respond possibly differently than we as adults do. Oh, Melissa, it's tough topic.
Okay. It is. And you know what? I just want to, I do want to pause and get real clear on something for everybody. Without the programs that were around me as a youth, without the school having a pottery class for me to go hide in on my lunch break on the days where I didn't want to fight, because I fought a lot. It was part of my life. Um, the school lunches that fed me, sometimes my only meal. The way that when I was younger, I would take my food stamps to the local food place, and they would sell me $15 of food stamps product, but get $40 worth of groceries to take home. Those things that offset what we were just not able to do. The welfare to work programs. When I became a recruiter, I was on the back end of being robbed, having a car accident, doing all of these things where I was just not able to work at all. And welfare didn't get it done. And so going and trying to find a job, that was hard too, especially in a manufacturing town of Nebraska. And my resources were hard. There were none. And if you didn't have a car, everything was so far away, because rural community, Jackie, like you said. And if we really look at the programs that help build those bridges, that's what's lacking right now. That's what's under attack. And when I think about the kids, you know, you can be mad at the parents. Be mad at my mom for letting me live in a house like I did. Be mad at my mom for not having the mental health services she needed, because her mom was also a welfare mom, and there was no such thing as mental health issues for children back then. You were seen and not heard, right? We've evolved, but we haven't. And everything that we've evolved in took decades and years of research and votes and pushing and bills and arguing, and all of the government that got us to the point on all sides today just being dismantled because I don't like it. We need to cut. And you know what? If a surgeon cut into me that way without assessing, if a business person came in and consulted me and said, well, just shut off the lights, it'll save you a ton on your business. It wouldn't make sense to me, guys. The point is to keep the lights on and keep it moving and make it better. And so shutting it off doesn't make sense to me as a consultant. When I sit here with my simple circles and crayons and Venn diagrams and try to make the facts overlap, I'm confused. And that's an emotion. Confusion means we pause, and we're seeing it in the markets. We're seeing it in business leadership. We're seeing it in shoppers. There's a lot of industries saying, hey, it's slowing down over here. And I think we're just seeing the beginning. And so we're here, right, Jackie? That's the whole point, is we're here and we're not going to let them do it alone. Businesses having the conversation. It's going to get harder before it's better, I think. I don't want to speak for businesses outside of the coaching, but I will say I have my finger in a lot of conversations in a lot of industries and a lot of community chats. And there's a lot of concern across the board.
Oh, without a
And
doubt.
so,
And when you're talking business, Melissa, I'm thinking multiple things. I'm talking people that sell goods and services in terms of actual things that have to be shipped or have to be mailed or have to be delivered somehow. But then I'm also thinking about the coaching industry and the people that are doing counseling and the people that are doing the things that aren't necessarily a tangible item that's coming in the mail, but that is so important for success. And it's so needed for so many humans that especially are going through change and they're not sure, or they're kind of struggling in ways to grow. To think of the impact that could have on all these services as people are watching their money. If they are having to spend 3 times as much at the grocery store, how are they going to be able to sustain some things that they may not see as necessarily a necessity, which is going to trickle down and possibly have to close some of those other people's businesses. They have to close. Where are they getting their food money from? If these programs are gone that don't allow extra food, how can we say that we're supporting our people that live in a community, live in our country, if there is nothing there for them? There's so many people that we're in different circles with, but so many that we're also in the same with, Melissa, and we can see so many people that have already been impacted, not just financially, but having longer waits at different doctor's office, having some of their medication be cut off, being told that they're not able to get this approval for something that they had already scheduled. It is becoming not just a financial possible blow, but an absolute catastrophic physical nightmare that so many people are going to experience, and there are no support services or very limited support services that will be available. So again, I'm in the nonprofit world and I work with people that have already so many barriers set against them, and they rely on some of these programs to literally help them change their life, to make decisions that are not going to hurt other people. And some of those services are going away. And what is that going to look like? How are we going to deal with the ripple down effect of people that are going to need to steal to get food to feed their babies, that are going to need to do things that they never wanted to do, that they may not be able to come back from in an emotionally healthy way through this? And this is where we got to figure out how we can work together, how we can support each other, how we can not get into that doom and gloom and despair, and how we can reach out, not just to worry about our finances and our own food and shelter, but to think about our broader community, because we are 100% impacted by our neighbor, by the kid down the street, by the old lady across the road, by the person 3 miles away, by the person that goes to the same grocery store. We are all so interconnected, but people want to think that we are not. And that's where what decisions you're going to make are absolutely going to impact me at some point in time, even if we never know who set off the ripple or that we were that connected. And so it's a lot to think about, Melissa. It is exciting to think that different businesses may actually change their mission over this. They may end up doing things that maybe push them to a different level that could be more successful for them, or they are going to actually at least learn how to pivot, adapt, regroup, re-strategize, and think of different ways. So I'm trying to think about some of the positives here without being totally
I got them. I
concerned.
got them. I got them ready for you. You know I do.
I
This
know
is
you
this is
do.
Listen, guys, I got to tell you, I am not scared to fight with nothing. Right? That's the benefit of coming up from the place I did. We had nothing. How much worse can it get? Right now, I feel like we are hitting kind of ground zero. You know, like we're hitting the base level, the foundation. We've hit the concrete, and now it's time to figure out what this foundation is going to do. Right? Is it something we're reinforcing? Are we going to build it back better? Do we just need to expand the platform? What do we do, right? And I'll be honest, when I look at some of these things, because I was looking at ChatGPT and I was using Gemini. I'm trying to get used to that guy over there too. It's a different AI platform, but I was looking at some of these top organizations, right? 350 AmeriCorps members across 14 metro areas were doing reading literacy. There's 3,100 people in 28 cities serving 200,000 students to help with their mentorship and academic support. These are things that aren't going to really be funded anymore, right? Catholic Volunteer Network lost approximately $5 million in funding. 1,300 volunteers across 900 sites, including schools and social service agencies. Habitat for Humanity, Youth Volunteer Corps of America, Legacy Corps, like all of these things that I'm looking going, okay, hope. Where do we grab the hope rope, right? We talk about this. How? Reality is each other. Because every single one of those lines I just read, Jackie, started with somebody who said, I want to make a change. Every single stinking thing. Even that guy Musk had an idea that got him to where he is today, good or bad. It all works that way, right? And so if we figure this out together, How do we make people better? I would implore you, I don't care what side you're standing on, how you feel about any of this right now. Can you just open your heart to the 5-year-old in the room? The next time you walk into a room to a 5-year-old, just have a conversation. Hey, buddy, how's school? Does your teacher have all the crayons she needs? Right? Does your teacher have all the resources? Do you have all the resources? What are you going to study when you're older? Are you planning on going to college? What do you want to be when you grow up? Ask the questions that support that 5-year-old. Whatever the answer is, if they want to be an artist, support the arts program. If they want to go teach, ask them how that you can help, right? Maybe they can mentor a student, right? They can start now. Also look at the 75-year-old in the room and say, what do you wish you did differently when you were my age? What do you wish you could change for the ones that are 5 today? Because that wisdom is lost once it's gone. And I tell you, and Jackie, a white butterfly just floated by my window as I'm saying this, but I'm thinking about my grandmother and I'm watching her just this butterfly. I'm giving it a she. I always say the butterflies are grandma, but I loved listening to what my grandma said because she had 8 kids and made it work in spite of some of these things that were challenges, like needing a man to vote, or to have credit, which I'm hearing might come back. Right? There's some legislation changing that might make it to where you and I need a friend to help us get some credit. I listened to her when she told me about World War II and how she was a caregiver for somebody who survived Nazi Germany and fled. And I ended up taking care of Frida with her. And I know what it looks like because the lady was 101, 102 when she passed, and she was part of the family after like 12 years of service. I know what it looks like when I just take my opinion out of it and Venn diagram it, right? And that's what I hope you guys do, because it's not about opinions, it's about the facts and what it means for the people that are 5 and 75 and everybody in between. And so really, if we can help you get clear in your business with the facts, we will. We don't want to make them believe like us or you believe like us, but having space to have the conversation in a friendly way so we can understand why maybe Jackie votes against Melissa on Prop 101 versus Prop 102 might be beneficial, because maybe that 5-year-old wants that art program and Jackie knows it and I don't. But we won't know if we don't talk about it. Jackie?
Oh gosh, our voices are the one thing we have if we are able to be vocal, and we don't have a physical limitation. I mean, our voices are the one thing that no one can take away from us unless they physically take it away from us. And not everybody understands how powerful it is to just sit there and say hello to that little 5-year-old, to say, hey, I want to listen to you, to say, hey, I want things to be nicer and safer and happier for you. That takes no money. That takes no law degree. It takes no title after your name. Caring about fellow humans literally helps you care about yourself more. Caring about yourself more helps you care about other people. It's the coolest vibe that happens, instead of getting just into the doom and gloom, just into the, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? But what's going to happen to us collectively if we don't use our voice, if we don't use the power of the opportunity we're given to find more like-minded people. That's more scary to me than anything, is that if you're not willing to band together with people that also want positive change and they want to be more caring, then you're leaving yourself out to possibly be, in a situation where you're not having support, and you're leaving this person out. But you also have to take care of yourself to make sure that people are coming at you with the right intentions. So Melissa alluded to, there's some people that are actually sending fake letters, or they are trying to encourage people, saying everything's okay, come here, come here. We don't know what everybody's intentions are right now, guys. And again, we have some people from all other countries in the audience, and we know we have a lot of support people outside of this room as well from other locations. we don't know what they are seeing exactly compared to what we're hearing and what some of us are seeing or not yet seeing right in our own neighborhoods. So trying to make sure that we work together globally, so this isn't just something happening in one country or happening to these type of people or those kind of, people that came here this way or they left for them for this reason. We need to get back down and break it down to that human connection. Whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager, whether you're somebody that's in the military or in a way at college or a stay at home mom or dad, or whether you're somebody that is working on your own mental health or you're having physical limitations, that doesn't keep you from having a voice and a heart to try to make things better. So that's where I'm going to kind of really want to focus my end of this conversation, Melissa, is doing more to take care of yourself helps other people. Doing more to take care of other people helps yourself. And if you've never been somebody that's really volunteered before, you might not understand that concept of how you can help other people. Now, I'm not saying if you have one pack of oxygen, just give it to everybody else. I'm saying when you truly care and when you can see the collective positivity of working together, huge, huge. And it comes back and it just fills your heart. It kind of gets that energy going again, Melissa, and it kind of makes you realize that maybe you can't rule the world, but you can at least say, I am on the right side of history. I am here to support. I am here to see good stuff happen. And I'm not just here to throw stones and to complain and say that it's not going to happen. So that's kind of where I want to go. Take care of yourself. Understand that your emotions are a good thing. Reach out to people like us. Reach out to people that are in your, possibly your coaching or your counseling realm, maybe your physical doctor, but reach out to people to make sure you take care of yourself. I'm thankful for Melissa because I do have her when I need to talk or vent. I'm thankful for so many of the people in the comments and those that support different shows that we do and that are supporting some of our posts. You guys mean a lot to us. So thank you so much.
I just love it. And guys, there has always been bad in the world. It's just part of the history. Like, it doesn't matter which book you read, pick it up. Whatever faith source you believe in, there's a balance. And we just have to make sure we're always on the good side of whatever that negative is, right? And sometimes it shifts. I love that quote that from the Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And I don't think we need to go out there and die by any means. But really, when we think about legacy, which is something that we do, right, Jackie? I'm going to bring it up real quick because we're here. Why not? But we do think about legacy. We co-wrote in books about legacy and what that meant to us, right? And maybe I deleted the book picture. Of course I did. I wasn't ready. Anyway, go find it, guys. It's out there. When I think about legacy, I just want to know that when I look at my grandkids, I can have that same determination my grandmother had to not be a well-behaved woman. I talked about that a long time ago on LinkedIn, but that was a quote that we had. It was on a sign. I still have it in my storage unit right now. I can't wait to pull it out, but it says, well-behaved women rarely make history. And I love that. But I want to do it with the Betty White approach, right? We've talked about that legacy of 100 years and leaving people wanting more. And I don't want to push my politics on you. I just want you to have your elbow room for your politics and my elbow room for mine. And where we overlap, fantastic. Let's high five it. And where we don't, let's be like bubbles and bounce the F out of here. But if you're hurting my friend's bubbles, I don't care where you are, playground or not, it's not nice, right? It really isn't. Genuinely, guys, think about it. If you have to burst somebody else's bubble to feel better about yourself, you need a coach, you need a therapist, you need to talk to somebody, you need to do some self-assessment because we shouldn't hurt others to empower ourselves. There's not less room at the table just because somebody else brings up their stuff at the table. And so empower yourself to feel that way, breathe that way, dream that way. Empower your team to come to the table with their ideas that way, right? It doesn't even have to just be politics, guys. This can be anything. This can be that new applicant tracking system everybody hates. It could be the new manager nobody's getting along with who's just coming in and cutting things up left and right. And it's like, well, we took years to build these processes, and it took Marsha like half a divorce for this to come to fruition. What are you doing? we have to talk about those things, right? These are humans who are impacted in their lives, either at home or in the workplace. And there's an emotional ripple when we invest that much time and self into anything and feel like it's not being respected. So try to bring the respect to get the respect. If you need help with it, Jackie and I will figure it out. She's got the skill set. Go check out her profile. She's got all the credentials I don't have. I have all the crayons she doesn't have. Together, we make a hell of a team. And we make some really good images too. Can I just take us off the screen? Look at that. Look at that. Jackie, we're the emotional women.
We are the emotional women. And guys, those faces are real and raw, and you deserve to have those emotions too. And guys, oh my gosh, Melissa, I just appreciate everything you've shared. She and I kind of went back and forth. When do we bring this up? How do we do this? And we're like, come on, we've got enough emotion to take on the whole show. If nobody even wants to listen, if nobody wants to comment, we've got this. But we hope that we gave you a little bit of encouragement that it's okay to feel the feels right now, no matter what country you're sitting in. It's okay to reach out for that support, like Melissa says, and it's okay for you to know that you are not alone. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. If you catch it on the replay, if you have questions, you can reach out. Please DM the Emotional Women. It's important to do our business page because she and I pretty much get overloaded in our DMs sometimes, and we don't want to have anything get missed because you messaged one versus the other and then it didn't happen. Okay, I'm the one that's really bad with DMs, but we would appreciate it.
I love this so much. I was like, what is she saying? I'm really bad too. I just like that she made me say it about myself. And she's like, no, I was speaking for me.
For me.
But genuinely, listen, guys, if you want to talk to us, find us. Knock on both doors, knock on all the doors. Spam us a little bit. It's okay. But if you spam us too much, we're gonna go. Let's talk about the emotions you're causing. But Jackie, I also have to give a shout out to Ennie. He asked a question about this background photo.
Yes.
He says he likes it and he wants to know how we did it. Should I tell him how we did it? Should I tell him how?
I think you should.
Listen, I just text Jackie. I was like, hey, can you make some faces at me in the camera? And she goes, what? It's like faces like this. Look. And she went and she did an impromptu photo shoot. I had grabbed a bunch of fun little photos of my face in different moments from my camera reel. And I just thought, why not go black and white? You know, it's a very intense experience to see it. But I think we've all had that face and pick one, right? Just put your finger on it, like the donkey game at the birthday party. Close your eyes, spin around and poke. We've all made it. And I think it's important to own it. And I'm just so grateful we do that together. So thank you. And guys, if you need us, call us. We're around. And if not, Jackie, you want to tell them what you got going next?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. So make sure that you're following my YouTube page because that is where you're going to hear a lot of my Just Jack stuff, where that focuses on some mental health topics. It focuses on hyping other humans. We talk some travel, we talk some reentry, but each week that is Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, or you can catch the replay on the YouTube channel as well. But tomorrow night we have Wishful Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. That will be Damian Kinsey and I. Super important that we come together for the first time since December to talk about supporting each other, hyping out each other in a different capacity. And then make sure that you're connected to our Emotional Women page, because that's where most of our events that are going to be coming up, not just events like this, but when we get to be in person and to doing some Zoom events, make sure that you're following that because that's really important to both of us as well. That's something that I also want to get your voice out there. So if you're interested in being on one of my shows, please feel free to reach out to me directly. But if you want to talk about that emotional connection, that's a Melissa and Jackie thing together. Yes, she said I got the credentials, but I don't do therapy through LinkedIn. That is not my thing. I don't do private therapy whatsoever. So Melissa, I appreciate you letting me share about the events that are coming up for me. Melissa does so much as well, guys. Make sure that you're getting things from both of us and then getting it from us together, because that's going to just expand your reach and your knowledge and all kinds of great stuff. So my friend, always great to be with you. Always great to spend time with you and all the people that are in the chat and people that go on the replay, because it's important that we are in this together. So thank you.
Well, and Michelle just said it, just subscribe. We love you guys too. It really is the human ripple, right? It's what brings us together. It's what we need to do to feed our need. Like we wake up and we can't help it. And I'm grateful for that blessing and the curse. but we keep giving back. And so I will be at Wishful Wednesday in spirit. I'll be listening in. I'll be back on the clock. I'll be honest. I'm excited to get moving. I am off to go meet some friend of mine who's going to run across the border. I think I'm going to go hang out and get into some shenanigans. And that's going to be a fun, different emotional adventure.
Well, I
And
just have
then
the notion of jealousy that popped up right now.
I know all day long. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. I need to rest. I'm so tired. I don't know if I can handle it. But he said it. He said it. He's coming my way. He knows where I live, so it's not like I can hide anyway. Also, I have the show this Saturday, and I think what I'm going to talk about will come out tomorrow. I'm really just leaning into the emotional support aspect of the layoffs. I just want to give you guys a quick heads up. There's some new news coming out about UPS. I think there's going to be a big ripple to that. And so it might just be like some job search strategies, or maybe I'll get a couple of my recruiter friends to come hang out and give some tips. But I think it's time. We got to get to work. So that's going to be my intention this week. And I will let you guys know when it's up. So,
Thank you, everybody.
Jackie,
Melissa.
yeah, take care. I will keep you posted. We'll send you pictures. We might even call you.
Yeah, you should probably do that. Okay. You guys have fun. Be safe. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for exploring these emotions. We'll see y'all soon. Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.